My name is Job David Ayuba, and I'm the CEO of Tomruk iHub Multiverse. What we do at Tomruk iHub Multiverse is we strengthen the capacity of public sector organizations to be able to deliver on their services effectively through digital transformation, human capital development, and artificial intelligence. And one of the things that we have partnered with the National Orientation Agency to do is train leaders of public sector organizations on national values and leadership, supported not just by the agency, but by the president himself, who has launched the Citizens Code for Nigerian citizens. When we gathered these leaders from different public sector organizations, we had different facilitators or resource persons take different topics like systems thinking, leadership theory and practices, emotional intelligence and empathy. I facilitated the session on demystifying vision, purpose, missions, and goals. And I was able to show them how they can pick the vision of their MDAs and then cascade it or transform it into a personal vision so that every day they go to work, they see themselves as not just working for the nation, but also working to transform their own lives. I taught them that vision is who you are based on what you have been shown. If their personal vision does not align with the vision of their organization, then there will always be conflicts. Then their level of commitment to the organization will always be. It will be as if they are being forced to work. It will be as if they are being exploited. But when both visions align, the next thing is growth, development, and prosperity, not just for that organization, but for the nation. A lot of them talked about how one of their major goals is survival, citing economic issues. Nevertheless, I still emphasized on each person having clarity, identifying their vision, because a person who lacks identity, who does not know who they are, will go anywhere and do anything. One of the examples I cited for them was, if you are supposed to make a trip to Abuja and there's a keke available to take you to Abuja, you know for sure that keke napep will have to be refueled several times on the way. And that keke is positioned and ready to take you to Abuja. And there's option B, a limousine, fully air-conditioned, but facing Bauchi, Gombe. Will you take that limousine and go to Gombe where you know that your destination is Abuja? No, you will not do that. Why? Because you have clarity of vision and purpose. You know exactly where you are going to. And regardless of what means of transportation, you are willing to make that sacrifice to follow that mode of transportation to get to your destination. And that is what vision does for you. It moves you away from just wandering, from being confused, to a point of clarity where you know exactly who you are, what you should be doing at every given time. And so, not just vision, where you now know your vision and say, this is who I am. In my organization, I am the wiper of the car. In my organization, I am the tire. In my organization, I am the rear mirror. What is your purpose in that organization? Whether it is the Bank of Industry, the Central Bank of Nigeria, your purpose is your why. Why are you here? Here can be this facility, this state, here can be Nigeria, here can be Africa, and here can be the world. So they need to know why they are here. When you know why you are here, the next question is, what must you do while you are here? Now that you are in BOI, what must you do to achieve the vision of BOI, your personal vision? What must you do? This begins to form your activities in BOI. And when you are able to identify those activities, you must now set goals and milestones. When a file is given to you, you know this file has to be treated in 20 minutes. And you know every day your goal is to treat 50 files. That way, you can always look back and measure progress. But if you're not able to identify all of these things, you can even move to achieving goals or executing goals of other people's missions and vision. So I tried as much as possible to make sure that every participant had clarity when it comes to vision, purpose, mission, and goals. Most of the participants loved the sessions on effective team building and communication. Communication is shaped by several factors. It's shaped by our religion, it's shaped by our experiences, it's shaped by our language, because the way you say a thing in one language is different from the way you say it and it is understood in another language. Our interpretations are different based on where we come from. Nigeria is a diverse country. So you can say one thing here that can be highly receptive by these people. You can say one thing here that is highly understood by a certain group of people, but the same thing will be given a different meaning in a different culture, religion, and region. Being able to bring people together and get them to understand how to communicate effectively stood up for a lot of people. We also had exercises where people were taught how to communicate effectively. Another session they loved was the session on emotional intelligence. We had a wonderful facilitator or a resource person that took them through the topic of emotional intelligence. And we had an exercise where we asked every participant to write a letter commending one of their colleagues or subordinates, just telling them one of the values they admire to encourage them. So we had very wonderful sessions. All the sessions were great. One of the things we observed during batch one was that people came with a lot of experience. When you have a room of 30 people and these people have 20 years, 15 years, 30 years experience in government, and you aggregate the years of experience in that room, you have hundreds of years of experience sitting in a room. The question is, how do you tap into that vault of experience? What we decided to do in batch 2 was to do a lot of peer consulting. We came up with case studies and we had them do the whole consulting, answering each other's questions, looking at it from different perspectives. A lot of times students want to take your own perspective, but we got them to understand that all perspectives must be contextual. So one philosophy can apply in this area, but in a different area, another philosophy has to apply. So yes, it is okay to say everything that goes up must come down based on the law of gravity, but there's also the law of aerodynamics, where things can actually go up and remain up for a long period of time. You need to get people to understand when to apply these laws, principles, and philosophies so they don't create or cause damage within their organizations. For batch 3, most participants will come here as leaders from day one. Before they arrive, we are going to make sure their wardrobe is the wardrobe of a leader. We are going to make sure that we already have resources, documents shared with them to prepare their minds, to cultivate their minds, to come here and resume as transformative leaders, so that when we begin to work with them, it's just an icing on the cake. Work should be done before they even arrive. That's our goal.